Welcome to Authentically You Network Podcast, where we have honest and heartfelt conversations about life, faith, and the moments that shape us. Today, we continue our Matters of the Heart series. In episode 8, I'm joined by Stefania Wheeler, whose story is one of resilience, faith, and transformation. From an adventurous childhood in Venezuela to navigating the challenges of starting over in rural West Tennessee as a teenager, Stefania opens up about the highs and lows of her journey. She shares the good and the bad decisions that she made as a teen moving to the States, the struggle of making friends in a place where she didn't speak the language, and the incredible impact of a teacher who took her under her wing. And of course, she gives us a glimpse into her love story, how she and her now husband found their way to each other. This conversation is inspiring, heartfelt, and it's a perfect addition to our Matters of the Heart series, where we have explored love in different forms. From my mother's 60 years of marriage to the raw journey of love and loss with Christie Baker that's coming up in episode 9. In this episode with Stefania Wheeler, get ready for a story of courage, community, and the power of an open heart. Let's dive in. This is Authentically You, where faith is the foundation that helps ordinary women do extraordinary things, and we talk about it. I'm Malia Evans, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. I'll see you on the inside. Stefania Wheeler, among strangers who meet you.
That's right.
I'm so honored to have you here today.
I'm so happy.
In our series on Matters of the Heart. So we're going to talk today about home being where the heart is. And boy, do you have a very unique and exciting, it's kind of exciting to me, your story on how you ended up in little bitty rural Findlay, Tennessee, all the way from Venezuela.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been exciting for sure.
Well, welcome here today,
Thank you.
Stefania. Let's just dive right in. So share a little bit about your childhood in Venezuela, and then kind of what was life like growing up in Venezuela?
Well, for me, it was very interesting. Both of my parents were biologists. My mom, an ornithologist, and my father, a herpetologist.
Interesting.
Yes, mother from Venezuela, father from England. And they did a lot of work in the Amazon researching animals.
Okay.
So that's what I got to do when I was little. I'd get to go do field work and help catch alligators and lizards. And
I'm pretty sure I've never met anybody who had that in their childhood story.
Interesting childhood. But aside from that, Venezuela being a very beautiful
Is
country.
Is it?
So diverse in every landscape you can think of.
Wow.
Rainforest, desert, swamps, plains, peaks. And then the most beautiful coastline you could ever imagine.
Oh, gosh.
So the Caribbean Sea.
Oh, my.
So, yes, I grew up living with my grandparents and going to the beach on the weekends. And, we had a mango tree in our backyard and climbing trees, picking mangoes and, going to school.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. That sounds like a wonderful childhood.
It was pretty amazing. Yes.
So in your teens, fast forward to your teens, your mother and father decided to live life apart, and to take their separate paths. And your father ended up in the United States.
Correct.
Transitioned here to the United States. And so that's how your connection to the States began. Is that right? So tell us a little bit about how that impacted you and how that led to you ending up in the United States.
So, yes, out of fate, divine intervention, I did end up in New Bern, Tennessee. At 13 years old.
From Venezuela.
I didn't speak English
At all.
It was very basic, kind of like some people can go to take Spanish.
Right.
We took Spanish in school, but it was very basic.
And so how many years ago now would that have been?
Oh, gosh, 28 years
And so
ago.
at that time, even in our school systems, English as a second language wasn't really...
No,
that wasn't a subject.
No, this was in New Bern in 1996.
Wow.
They gave me a little it looked like a calculator where I could punch the word in Spanish, and then it would give me the equivalent in English. One of the first words I learned was slow down,
because your speech is normally a
Yes.
faster pace,
yes,
especially to Southern America.
yes, and
As opposed to South America.
right. And my dad being from England, the English that I was exposed to was with a British accent.
Oh, wow.
So yes, it was like not knowing English when I moved here.
Yeah.
But I did have some very, very kind teachers that poured into me, that helped me out, that wanted to teach me proper English.
Yeah.
Miss Connie Van Vickle, she was a very big influence.
Yeah.
But yes, the kindness of the teachers really made a difference on that development for me.
So how, with that language barrier, how difficult was it making friends?
Oh, making friends was never.
No, for you, I can. Yeah, no, that was a dumb question. For you, I shouldn't have even asked that.
But the one of the big, I grew up in a different culture. Catholic was my what I grew up in. I went to all girls private Catholic school. We were taught by nuns, uniforms, and then here I went to Newbern Junior High, co-ed, male teachers, different language. Then I find out about different Christian religions, Methodist, Baptist, and it was a lot to take in culturally. And being a different kid that didn't speak the language, that did have this wild stories of
Wrestling
catching alligators. It's like, are you lying? It's like, well, I have pictures.
Yes.
I have receipts.
You fact checked.
Yes, I have receipts. But
it's some scars.
I have a scar here from where a monkey bit me.
Who could say that? Who could really say that?
And it does. It sounds wild when I remember one time I was like, why didn't I do t-ball or gymnastics when I was little? And I'm like, that's right. I grew up in Venezuela.
So they didn't have those kinds
No,
of
they did. And I grew up in the capital city. I grew
okay.
up in like a concrete jungle. But because of my parents' career, I was just exposed to different things.
Yeah.
A lot of fun things that, created the person that I am today.
So what made you then decide? Because so father came, you didn't come immediately with dad.
No. Really, when I was 12, I had these options presented to me. My mother had gotten a contract to go work in Barbados. I could have gone with her. I could have stayed in Venezuela with my grandparents. I could have gone to Bolivia with my aunt, or I could have come to the United States with my dad.
That's a lot of choices for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Big choices.
Yes, very big choices. And I had visited here. I visited when I was 6. Fell in love with it. Went to a pig farm.
Big farm.
A pig farm.
Alligators to pigs.
Yeah, baby pigs, and then the cousins that I went to visit. It was just, I fell in love with it.
Was it the slower pace that you liked, you think, or
yes,
the greenery?
Yes, that too. And it's I did go to the jungle, but it's different because people weren't living in the jungle.
Right. You're true.
But I was so fascinated that people could leave their vehicle running while going into the grocery store or the gas station, and nobody was gonna. You didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I miss those days.
That was something that was whoa. But I just fell in love with the landscape. And then I came back to visit when I was 12 for the summer. And I went to visit the 8th grade class. And they were all so nice and wrote me notes. And I still have some of those notes. But I had younger brothers that I wanted to come be with. And just.
So that's family.
Yeah.
So family was the draw.
Yeah.
To Tennessee.
So
being a teenager, I think we talked a little bit about that and that adjustment and those challenges. And were there moments during that time that you questioned, had you made the right decision?
Oh, many
times.
Yeah. Many times. From, sometimes I missed the holidays. I missed the food. I missed being able to speak to somebody in Spanish and use the same slang term. Because different, English from different places have different slangs, so there was a lot of things that I just missed. But I just fell in love with here. I really did.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I know, it's hard having been here, born here, grown up here, never wrestled alligators here, and probably would die if I ever saw one, probably just fall over dead right then. But the stories, of your childhood, and I guess the part of your story that really kind of gut punches me the most is what we touched on a moment ago, is you being not forced, but being put in a situation to having to choose, number one, between family. That's got to be hard on any child, regardless of where you're growing up, and having to choose a lifestyle with, among family members, and knowing that you're going to have such distance between those important family members. And it's not like you just go next weekend, to visit, as so many children, do that lifestyle they live now. But such important, impactful decisions. And from the Catholic faith at that point was the only religion you pretty much had been exposed to and been familiar with. And so where in all of that, even as a teen, did faith come into play?
Oh gosh. Every day.
Every day.
Every day. Because I had to make that choice.
Yeah.
When things would go awry.
Yeah.
Did I make that choice? I made the choice.
Because God gives us free will.
It's my choice.
Right.
Did I make the right one? And then every now and then something would happen. And I would be like, yes. Regardless of the turmoil, regardless of any storms, there would be something that would happen.
That would give you the calmness and assurance.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going. And the religion part's interesting because I also, during those teen years, I also got to live in Nepal for a year.
Oh, okay.
So between being 15 and 16. So then at that point, I got exposed to Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Maoism. I got to go to Buddhist temples. I got to, so it was just like this explosion of knowledge. And then I came back to West Tennessee. I wanted to come back to West Tennessee. I was there for a year, and I said, I've traveled the globe, and I will say it time and time again, nothing is more beautiful to me than the emerald seas of soybean fields.
Wow, we've got some farmers around here. They're going to love to hear you say that.
Love it. The cotton too.
The Emerald City. The Emerald City of the soybean.
You drive 412.
It's beautiful. There's not, I don't think, a more beautiful drive in West Tennessee.
Yes.
Other than going down, and for those of you from West Tennessee, you're going to know what we're talking about, but going down the bluff.
Yes.
Toward the river at sunset. Yes. That's probably that big long hill and that beautiful sunset over that river and that bridge. You guys don't know what you're missing. You're not from West Tennessee.
No. And just the seasons and how it changes, and
we have 4 seasons really here.
Beautiful seasons. And it just really puts it into perspective, the greens turn gold, turn brown.
But there wasn't that really in Venezuela?
No, Venezuela doesn't have seasons.
Really?
No. Everything's just hot, nice. No, mild temperature. We lived in a valley.
Oh, okay.
And then on the other side of the valley was the ocean. I would say it was 70s, 80s year round. You had wet season and dry season. When it rained a lot and when it didn't rain. That was basically it. Was around the equator. So yeah, the seasons to me is something that is just absolutely fabulous to watch. I love it. I don't get sick of it.
Oh, wow. So let's fast forward to today, all grown up, life settled in. Now, and so lead me to Findlay, though. So you came to the United States, landed in New Bern as a teen. You grew up pretty much in the United States, visiting some other places internationally along the way. But you settled into rural farming community, a little unincorporated community Findlay, Tennessee.
And I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to say Findlay. It's actually Richwood.
Oh,
I'm in Richwood.
You are in the suburbs of Findlay.
Yes.
Let's get that clarified.
Yes, in God's country.
In God's country. Yeah. Flood country.
Yeah, that too. I just pretend that backwater is the ocean.
Is the river spilling over? Yeah, there's ocean spilling over. So how did you end up in Findlay? And let's transition over into that beautiful family of yours.
So went from New Bern to Dyersburg, eventually went to Findlay. That's where a rental opened up because of some connections, people that I knew. Wonderful people.
Yeah.
My landlords were the most amazing. They poured so much love into me.
Oh.
So Miss Christie White, I love her and her family so much. And then I just fell in love with Findlay. I lived in Findlay for a few years. I nannied kids for a while, and that was such a magical little neighborhood to ride bikes in, or just stomp around Findlay. And then my husband and I got together, and he's from Richwood.
Richwood. He's a native.
He is a native, local yokel. And fell in love with his family. I do have to tell you this story because it's my favorite story about my mother-in-law.
Oh.
So I found myself living in the United States by myself when I was 18. So certain things, just circumstances, life happens, and I was going to have my first Christmas by myself.
Oh, gosh.
So I pick up the phone. This is back when we had landlines, no cell phone.
Right.
And I go call one of my friends to wish him and his family Merry Christmas. And Miss Betty answers the phone. I'm like, hey, Miss Betty, Merry Christmas. She's like, hey, Stefania, Merry Christmas. What are you doing? I'm like, oh, nothing. And she's like, what do you mean nothing? I'm like, well, nothing. She's like, aren't you going somewhere? And I'm like, well, no. She's like, well, come down here. And I'm like, no, I just want to tell Jonathan Merry Christmas. And she's like, well, if you want to tell him Merry Christmas, you hang up the phone and
come
you
tell
tell
him Merry
here.
Christmas. Yeah.
So I did. I hung up the phone and I went down there. And by the time I got there, this magical woman had a stocking for me and little gifts.
Oh, my.
And it was so magical and beautiful. And I had no idea that she was going to become my mother-in-law.
Oh, my. What a beautiful story.
About 12 years later, she became my mother-in-law.
Which makes the theme of this episode exactly what I wanted the listeners to know about your story, about how home really is where your heart belongs. Not where your heart necessarily is, but it's where your heart belongs. And you know it. It's one of those I knew when I knew when I knew, kind of things. And that's such a wonderful story. Such a beautiful story. That it happened on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Despite all the turmoil, all the chaos, all the bad choices, there were good choices. And there were these very important people that didn't give up on me. Even when I wanted to give up on myself, because things got tough for me.
Really.
But there were some people that just truly believed in not letting my flame extinguish, not letting me extinguish my own flame.
Yeah. I believe God put those people there. I believe they were divinely purposed for your purpose.
So, and I'm eternally grateful for them.
Yeah. What a beautiful story. So you and Jonathan now have Bella and Roland.
Yeah.
And they're a senior. You're about to lose one of them from the nest. Oh, gosh.
Yes, I'm bracing. Well, she says she wants to go to Dyersburg State.
Oh, good. So she can live at home.
We got a little while.
She can live at home for here, too.
Yes. But, yes, so Bella, senior, Roland, third grade.
Oh, wow.
I pinch myself on a regular basis.
Yeah. Beautiful family.
We get to live next door to, I don't call her Miss Betty anymore.
Yeah.
She's Mimi.
Mimi
and Papa.
Yeah.
And there's a trail between our houses from where our kids or the dog or, us
go to Mimi and Papa's.
Go to Mimi and Papa's. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, go to Mimi and Papa's.
Go burn the trail.
Go to Mimi and Papa's. But it really is like, the American dream,
Wow.
Some of it had to do with the choices I made,
Yeah.
the choices I didn't make,
Yeah.
the people I surrounded myself with, the people I didn't surround myself with.
That's a very good thing to point out too. Is that life is all about choices. My daughter, she's heard that ad nauseum, growing up. She still hears it as a grown woman with her own child, but life truly is about choices. And choices began in Scripture. They began in Scripture. Choices are free will, which is what God gives us every day to choose to do right or to choose to steer from what is right.
Yeah.
And it's hard. We make the wrong choices, but there are always godly people, I believe, that God has put in our path for us to either recognize the role they play in our life or to just be so far from Him that we don't even see what He's put right in front of us. And so I'm sorry that you were faced as a child with those decisions, such hard decisions, but we are so blessed that you chose Newbern, Tennessee back when you were a teen. There are many, many organizations in our community that are blessed by you in your job, your day job. You play a critical role in what you do as a career in your vocation and helping nonprofits and organizations and individuals even throughout all of West Tennessee in what you do. And I love your story. We have to tell the story that we were talking about the other day. In your job, you get to travel from county to county, and you cracked me up the other day. We have to tell the story about your favorite restroom stops.
Yes, I want to make the grand tour of the best restrooms in Northwest Tennessee. Because of covering 8 counties, I had to identify where a lady traveling alone can stop to use the bathroom and it not be questionable in any way.
Right. You did not leave with anything you didn't go in with.
That's right. So, yes.
Right.
But yes, the traveling, I love this role that I'm in. I feel like I can pay it forward because of the help that I received.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so special about the role you serve. I think that's why you're so good at it, because it's not just a vocation to you. You literally are paying forward to other people what was paid forward to you. So you have a firsthand experience at what some of the folks that you're serving are going through and what their needs are. And I think you're that light that God has purposed for them, just like He purposed other people for you in the past. So do you want to give a shout out to what you think is the best restroom in West Tennessee for women if they need to?
Oh my goodness!
If they need to go potty while they're traveling.
Which county? In which county? Let's see. The libraries are always a good call.
Libraries are a great
call.
And
getting a library card at every one of them helps the library. So just go ahead and get a library card.
Well, there you go. Who needs travel centers when you can get a library card
That's
and
right.
travel and go to the restroom at a library? So.
Yes.
Well, Stefania, it has been a joy sitting down to visit with you today. I love your story, and thank you so much for your heart. We're so blessed here in West Tennessee, and I think I would just like to turn it now to our signature closing that we have in every episode of Authentically You. We ask our guests to leave our listeners and our viewers with a scripture that is special to you and maybe why that scripture is special. And then after you've shared your scripture, if you just have any parting words that you would like to leave our listeners who are mostly women who are seeking out what their purpose is in life, and just encouragement for them. Any words?
Yes, happy.
Okay.
Since I was a kid, this has been my favorite scripture. It was in Spanish at first.
Okay.
No, but I'll say it's Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. There's a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot.
Yep.
A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. So through all the different stages in life, knowing that there is a time for all of these things and recognizing there's storms, there's calm, there's storms. So one of my other favorite quotes is, "The sweet is never as sweet without the sour."
Oh, that's beautiful.
And sometimes we really don't appreciate how lucky we are until we experience some of that sour.
Right. Yeah.
So the choice on how we act, the things that we do throughout the day, and then when we lay down our heads on that pillow and have our conversations, are we proud of who we are at the end of the day?
And do we make him proud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. We get to choose who we are.
Yeah. And so for our Hispanic ladies who are listening, give one word of encouragement in Spanish to them.
Dale. Dale. Keep on.
Keep on.
Keep on.
Keep on. What a beautiful story. Stefania, thanks so much for sitting down with us at Authentically You today. And we appreciate all that you do for West Tennessee and all the people that you impact. You're a beautiful person.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed that conversation. Be sure to hop over to authenticallyutn.com and subscribe to our email list to become an Authentically You insider. That's how you'll know when new releases of other episodes have dropped to our platforms and all other exciting news that we'll have to share about networking events, live recording episodes, and all kinds of fun things. Thank you for spending your time with us. I'm Malia Evans, your host of Authentically You. Have a great day.